Welcome to season 2 of the Halftime Report, powered by Sports Cannabis. I'm your host, D-Ray, and today an absolute legend joins us, retired NFL legend, entrepreneur, cannabis advocate, the captain of the ship of the All Pro Farms, man. Y'all making some waves right now. Bo Scaife, how you been, bro?
God, man, it's good to be back, man. Y'all taking off.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, man. I was about to say, man, we was talking right before we got on camera. You got me amped. You got me. I felt like I just had like a pre-game speech, but we obviously gonna get into what we was talking about as far as approaching things with an athletic mindset. But just from a health standpoint, just where you are now, how you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I lost my mom in between the time that we spoke, on Mother's Day. So, my perspective on life and just everything changed. My mom definitely suffered from, some of the opioid issues that people deal with. So I kind of got an extra motivation now, with doing what I'm doing to help people, who struggle and help people who have family members that struggle with those same type of issues because, that shit hurts, man. So, I got a newfound inspiration now, mama's shining over me. So it's only about to get bigger and better.
I love that, man. God bless her soul. God bless her soul. And obviously, thank you for being vulnerable with that. You know what I mean? I know that's not the easiest thing to start off with, so thank you for being vulnerable with that. I knew when I first talked to you, it was a tremendous amount of strength. Just you came here with it. Certain people you could see from the jump, just from the energy that brought them here, you could tell they're just meant to be a certain type of strong. But where have you been finding your strength lately with that?
It all comes from just doing what you love to do. Like when you are in your purpose and you feel like, you're doing the things that excite you and you wake up every day, when your feet hitting the ground, you're doing things that, make you happy and that you enjoy doing, like you move different. So this whole all pro vision and all pro journey that I've been on, man, has been, nothing less than exciting. And, I haven't lost any steam. I'm more inspired and motivated than ever. And like we were talking about before the interview, just, I have this DNA of wanting to be great at what I do. I can't be average at nothing. Like I won't sleep good at night if I'm not producing the results that I want to produce or, hitting the goals and the things that I set forth for myself. So I wake up every day hungry, man. I'm hungry in this game. I'm hungry and excited every day just to continue to build and just get better at what I'm doing as a CEO, as an entrepreneur, as a leader, to my team, as a cultivator who's producing, amazing flower for people, like, making sure I got happy customers and people are satisfied. I mean, those are all aspects and things that we have to consider and look at as business owners. So, I got a lot on my plate. It's a heavy load, but, too much is given, much is required. So, thankful and grateful for the opportunity. And I always think about the ancestors, got to make them proud, got to make the people who came before me, my mom, my dad, everyone that supported Bo Scaife, got to make them proud. So I carry that with me every single day when I get up.
I love that. And like I said in the introduction, you're the captain of the ship when it comes to All Pro Farms, excuse me. And what I love about the way you talk about it is I've never heard you say, when you talk about All Pro, you talk about it in a team setting. You talk about it in our mission. You talk about it where we are going. You talk about it as what we've accomplished in us. And when you talk about yourself as an individual, you are very aware that, but these are the things that I bring to the table as an individual. So combining the two of them, I have to ask you, how do you combine your ethos with All Pro Farms? Or should I say, how does your ethos show up in All Pro Farm ethos?
I mean, I credit football to that. I mean, I look at it as my own NFL organization. Owner, I got to find my GM, I got to find my QB, and, we got to put the right players and team in place so we can execute the plays at a high level. So, building a business is no different than that. Your team is everything. Your team is your business. So, that's something I've never taken lightly. The people that, I've hired or the people who I want representing my brand, they know I have a high standard. They know I have high expectations, and I'm not going to ask them to do anything that I wouldn't do, whether it's, mopping the floors or, trimming the bud, making deliveries, whatever it is. Like, if I'm doing it, then they ass better be doing it too. So, I operate on a high level, and I expect that from even the people, anyone I deal with, whether it's my store, my employees, just anyone I contact, they gonna feel that energy from me.
I love it. I love that. I love that. And it's funny. As we was preparing for this. You know, what I mean, it's my second time I talked to my guy. We had you on the first season, but I'm watching clips of you recently. You know, what I mean, seeing how things are going. I heard you say on one podcast, "Business is a team game." I was like, "That's crazy, man." Like we were talking about right before we hopped on camera. There's so many little nuances that you could take from athletics and apply to anything else in life. And the beauty about being an athlete and making it to a certain point is people in real life don't understand it. You know what I mean? Athletics is this bubble. We understand that it's different, but that kind of warped reality and approach to things allows you to excel in business. So I have to ask you, what part of failing did you learn from football that you take into all pro that allows y'all to keep moving at the pace that y'all are moving at? Because I have to imagine with all the success, there has been some setbacks, there has been some fall throughs, but the way that y'all have kept the steam going over there, I'm like, he has a tight ship because this shit, whatever it is, they learn from it and keep it pushing right away.
And that's, you hit it on the head. You got to learn and you got to surrender that ego in business, and be able to humble yourself as a
Mm-hmm.
CEO, that you don't have all the answers, you don't know it all, and be open to receiving new information and better ways of doing things. It's all about finding the best practices, and I'm not too big to ask other people for help, or to ask and let someone know, hey, I don't know this. What do you think? What are your thoughts on this? And that type of stuff. And then all that has came from my own experience and just growth. When I was playing, I would, any team I went to, or even looking around the league, I'm going to find out the guys that are better than me and watch what they're doing. I used to always go to our video guys and like, let me get every single clip of Antonio Gates. Let me get every single clip of Tony Gonzalez, so I can see what they were doing and why they were so successful. So the same thing has been happening for me in cannabis. I find out what the big players are doing, and the people who've been successful in the industry. What are they doing? How can I replicate it? How can I be better than that? How can I spin it where it fits more of all pro, and tailor it more towards the all pro mission and vision? So it's just not having that ego, man, and just having that commitment and that mama mentality of just constant improvement and committed to getting better every day. And the difference between sports and business is, in sports, there's only one champion. Like at the end of the season, one person is crowned, and that's how you gauge your success. In business, you can be top 5, top 3, top 10, and still have a real successful year, or
Mm-hmm.
corporation. So, I keep that in mind. But obviously, my mindset is, I want to be in the top upper echelon with everybody and be the best and be recognized.
I love that. I love that. So let's say you get somebody on the all pro team. Let's consider this person a rookie. What is the advice you're giving to them as the you're not only the vet but you're the leader as well. What advice are you giving them off rip?
Man, I literally just had this conversation the other day with a new employee, and when I was at Texas, they used to always tell us, you got to crawl before you walk. you
Mm-hmm.
know. So we bear crawling on the field and all that type of stuff, doing all this extracurricular stuff before we got to, before we got promoted to, doing this. Even as a rookie, we got to go get all the food for the vets, and there's
Yeah,
certain things that you got to do, as the young guy or the new guy on the team, and everybody has to go through that. So I try to use those analogies and explain those things, and I'm from the show me state. I'm from the show me state. Like in sports, that's how you show your worth and your value. You go out there and you
yeah,
ball, and you
yeah,
get results. So, there's been so many things in this industry where everyone just come in and they're the master this, the master that. I can make you this amount of money. I can sell this amount of for you. Okay, show me. And then we could talk about what you're really worth. Because if you don't got the resume to support that, which most people don't, because this is the dope game. Like it came from the black market. You can't sit here and tell me like, oh damn, I just sold 2,000 pounds, because
yeah,
they probably looking for you right now.
yeah. Exactly. It's like you sound like one of these new rappers for real, for real. Because if
Yeah,
you did all this, I feel like you'd have a couple more problems on your hands.
yeah.
That's the
And I tell
truth.
people all the time, like, I'm going to be fair. I recognize talent. I recognize production. I recognize results. That's part of what we're trying to do is be able to see that, and that's all I want. I just want to see that. I mean, there's a lot of over promising and under delivering in the industry. So, I've learned those lessons, early on. Those are some of the L's and pitfalls that I took early on is just, being over trustworthy to people and not letting them prove themselves. So, like I said, is just continue having that mindset of getting better as an owner, as a leader, as evaluating talent and people, and how they can help the business grow and be successful.
People like you, your stories are the best because you understand it from both sides. You can see it from both sides. There was a point where you were only buying weed and you understood the things that kind of caught your eye and got it. And then, like I said, to be the one, steering the ship, you have a whole different approach. But I have to imagine it started from reverse engineering what you liked when you were just a consumer. So, as a consumer, what are the things for you that's like green flag for X cannabis brand?
Well, that's what I had to learn as an owner is to not depend so much on what I think they want or what I might know they want, and really go ask them and find out, like, what do y'all want? Like, what do you like? What are you going to spend your
Yeah.
money on? So I be in the stores and I talk to the bud tenders and I talk to people who are buying weed and I ask them those questions and I just allow them to tell me what they want and what they like. So, you know, out here in Colorado, people say all the time, if it's a gelato, they're gonna buy it. People love gelatos. People, they love sativas because they're rare. They love, this is something going on in the industry. People love high THC. So, all those factors and all the information is data that I got to collect as a business owner and create that product and those results for the consumers.
Mhm.
Personally, for me, I'm a little more of an experienced consumer, so I care about taste. I care about the bud structure. I care about the moisture and how the weed is dried and cured and how it's going to smoke. Um, those are the things I look for. And I think, all the experienced smokers and people who really enjoy consuming cannabis, they want to feel those things. They want that perfect nug that just when they light that thing up, it tastes well and it makes them feel so good. So it's cool learning it on both sides and putting my brain and wrapping my brain around everything that, all the information that I get, from both sides, my employees and the actual consumers and finding that common ground and that balance where, I'm creating something or giving people what they want.
So for you, I gotta ask you, right before we step into this our halftime, um, I don't know if it's like asking you about which one's your favorite kid, but what is your favorite product of yours?
I, I am, I just love flower, man. If I wish I could explain and just, really communicate my excitement for growing actual flower and just
Hmm.
watch these buds, grow and harvesting and creating a better batch than you did the time before, and always striving just to get that best batch that you like, oh man, as soon as you smell that, people are gonna love that. As soon as you smoke that, like, oh, I know they're gonna love this, and
Hmm.
being able to get it out to people like yourself and friends and other people, consumers, so they can experience that same joy that I experienced from smoking it. They always say never get high on your own supply, but I'm smoking my shit. I don't want to
Give a
sell
damn what you heard.
having a cosign. I don't want to put nothing up, put my name on nothing that I'm not trying to do and stuff like that. And
Yeah,
a lot of brands, they've built successful businesses on that.
yeah,
Facebook, Instagram, like these owners ain't using their own product, but I want to use mine. I like it, and I still believe, more than ever in the wellness of it. So I know I'm creating a healthy and clean product that people are going to enjoy. So why wouldn't I enjoy it as well?
I love that, man. I love that.
I'm working on some infused joints. It's kind of our new stuff that we got coming on.
Hmm.
I'm gonna start putting together some real cool cannagars that I can start sending out for gifts to people. These are like 8 to 10 gram, like large joints that burn slow, has a little bit of concentrate in it. The smoothest smoke you've ever had. I recently had one at an event I was at, and this guy rolled it for me, and it was just one of the smoothest smokes I've ever had. So I'm loving this specialty joint lane as well.
I love that. I love that. All right. That is the that is the perfect transition into our
Yeah,
halftime moment.
yeah,
Sponsored by Heisman. I'm actually about to light up myself. I'm pretty sure you got something handy. I know you good for it. If you got a long day ahead of you, I dig it. You don't want to do anything cool,
yeah.
but I'm definitely about to. I got to spark this. It's actually the halftime strain. It's a hybrid. I love hitting the hybrids in the middle of the day because it keeps me stimulated as far as having to stay on top of my stuff. But I went on a hike this morning, so it allows my body to calm down and kind of
Yeah.
flush me out. Like I said, this is our Heisman strand. Sorry,
What
my
do you like?
fault.
What do you like, D? What are you looking for in your weed?
For me, it's the smoothest smoke thing to me jumped out because I thought I was one of the few people who really cared about that. And as somebody who doesn't smoke blunts, because I like to keep it light on my lungs,
Yep.
to me, a blunt is an occasion because it's such a heavy high because of the tobacco as well. That for
Mhm.
me, it's like if I smoke a blunt, it's done. You know what I mean? I don't want to do nothing. Like a blunt is like 4th of July. Like I just want to be sitting there like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But because I smoke paper so much, you inherently get a different type of dryness. So if I get some weed and I smoke it and I notice after 2, 3 pulls, I'm not like, or sitting here like this with a pasta mason jar of water handy, you know what I mean? Because I can't get through it. That shit hurts. So I think
Yeah.
the smoothest smoke is at the top of the list. And obviously, the effect, you know what I mean? It's great for it to taste good. It's great for it to look good. That shit got to hit. You know what I mean? You said as athletes, there's a part of our brain that is just wired towards results. I don't give a damn you playing horseshoes. You looking for results. You know what I mean? So some shit that hit is like, all right, this is for me.
Yeah. Yeah. You want that pound.
Yeah. Like, okay, this shit is physical.
You know, and
Man,
that's one of the best parts of figuring out, as a cultivar, how to make sure to ensure that, people get that pound and they get that hit that they're looking for.
mm-hmm.
Some people like a heavier one, some people like a lighter one. So it's cool to be able to offer, a little something for everybody, that's going to make them happy and give them the effects that they want. So, when you are in the garden and you're thinking about, the type of strains and everything that you want to grow, you want to have a little bit of everything for everybody.
Yeah, nah, man, and I love the thoughtfulness that you come into it with. Like I said, I think part of it comes from being a consumer. And we spoke about it on the first season. You told me your routine and like you regularly consume cannabis, but obviously nobody can knock that doesn't, if anything, help your productivity. So I was just inspired by that. Like I said, I had to go back and listen to our first one. I was just like, damn, like this dude is really on it. He knows his stuff. I have to imagine that just makes you that much better of a businessman. You know what I mean? It's like a dude who played and then he coached. Like he's always going to have a certain knowledge that the one that never played did. So
Exactly.
when
Yeah.
I heard about your message and what you were doing with All Pro, and like I said, just watching from afar over this past year how it progressed, where y'all popping up at, I'm like, he has something figured out. You know what I mean? And it's good to know that something is you care. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? You give a shit. Like that's dope.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't give a shit about your product, man, you in the wrong business. So, I mean, your consumers are the ones that define your success. So they're gonna tell you if your shit is legit or not. And so, I make sure I relay that message to my employees and all the people helping in serving All Pro that we got to make sure that this is created with that in mind. Like
Mhm.
the employees are the ones that are going to decide. I mean, the consumers are the ones that are going to decide how successful we are in the market.
I heard a story. This product designer would go into stores and ask people how they felt about X product. And the girl knew that she designed it. She knew that what she wanted people to take from it, how she wanted them to feel. But this one lady at the store just breaks it down in such a passionate way, it makes the designer cry. She was like, I've never heard somebody talk about my product like that. So for you, what would you want somebody to say? They get done. You roll it up yourself and hand it to them yourself. What would you want them to say after they get done smoking it?
Well, I've already had some people, just tell me, in some of the smoke sessions that I had, that just how good they feel, and it really puts a smile on your face because I mean that's what it's about. Like Cannabis for me has always been something that's therapeutic and uplifting to people, and I want them to feel that. I want them to feel that when they smoke All Pro. So someone tells me how good they feel, and these are some beginner smokers and people who really don't like smoking either. I feel like a lot of people who have had uh, a bad experience with cannabis, they probably were smoking something that was a little too strong for them because they're not, a frequent consumer. So that probably played a point into the effect of it. They smoked something that was too strong and it made them a little uncomfortable or made them panic or their heart was racing and stuff like that. So, you know, being able to know what to suggest for people and actually having like a product for them or a strand for them that I know is not going to give them that effect that they previously experienced and didn't make them feel good feels awesome. And so, I've had that from, older ladies that I work out with in the gym who have been, anti-cannabis, grew up in Texas, they've never really smoked that much. And, they had
Just say no. Just say no type.
yeah, I mean, I've literally smoked joints with these ladies and some of these older men, and just to see their change of perspective on it with my product and with All Pro, I mean, it's so fulfilling, man. Like I said, it just makes me want to go even harder because I want to create that reach. I mean, this is international for me. Like people are smoking weed all over the world. So how can I get All Pro, in front of so many people? So, I know I can provide them that result and that those therapeutic effects that they're looking for. We got to legalize this shit, D. I mean, it's quit playing around, man.
So, all right, hold on. Let me hold on. Real sidebar before I get into it because you led me into my next question, but I have to. I can't let this slide.
Yeah.
I have to be honest with you, bro. I don't know if I trust our country enough
Oh, yeah.
for weed to be something that they deal with. I asked. We had Bethany and Amy on a episode, and I had asked them. You look at how food is dealt with in this country. You look at the shit that people get away with in children's food, the things that are mostly in the supermarket. That was what made something like Whole Foods so crazy. It was like, oh my God,
Yeah.
here's an answer. You know what I mean? Like, here's a Batman for this Gotham like environment they've created with the food. And I don't know if I trust them to deal with another thing that we consume because it's like, what will happen at that point? So let me ask you, why do you have faith in that being something in the right direction outside of a business mind?
Because people need it. We are dealing with so many epidemics in this country, and people need at least be able to have a choice to, heal themselves in a different way. Like we already know alcohol is going to kill you. We know opioids can kill you. We see it every single day. We know food can kill you. I'm not hearing about people dying from weed, and I'm hearing about what weed is helping people with. It's helping people get off alcohol. It's helping people wean themselves off of opioids. It's helping people get in better moods and deal with certain things in their life. It's helping people with pain. So, we've identified all these benefits that people are experiencing with cannabis. And so we're selfish to just ignore that information, ignore that research, ignore those results, and not at least give people the option. I don't understand how we got to the place where it's looked at the way it's looked at when we know that this is a plant that's farmed. Like it's a plant that grows in soil like food, like all these other plants in agriculture that, have been around for thousands and thousands of years. So I don't understand
Mm-hmm.
how one thing got tied up so tightly and so much negativity built around it and strapped around it, where now it's taking so many years and so much time to just keep unraveling this big ball of legalization for a plant that we know helps people. And if anything, is a better alternative than alcohol, than opioids, than a lot of the food and other things that we put in our body. So at least give people another viable option instead of the ones that we know for sure are detrimental to people's health and people are abusing on a daily basis and breaking up families, killing people, all that type of stuff. So, I mean, it's just about how much compassion we really have for, humanity and people in general.
That's amazing, bro. That's amazing. That's yeah. Okay, I'm sold. All right. Oh,
Oh, oh,
made
oh,
me turn
both.
to Seinfeld for a minute. Yeah, I'm about to say. I was like, shit. Listen, I ain't got nothing else after that. All
Yeah,
right, let's pivot a bit. Like I said, you took me into it. I had to go on that tangent. I had to hear your take on that, and that does ease my conscience with it a bit. Because I got to be honest, when I first heard about it, the first thing I thought of was the grocery store. You know what I mean? And how I purposely shop at the foreign supermarket because they don't mess with those foods to a certain degree. You know what I mean? But you walk in. Oh yeah, I guess they got Vons and stuff like that. Food Lion in the DMV or ShopRite in Philly or something like that. You walk in those places, and you really got to start reading labels left and right. It's like you don't feel safe. So I got to be honest. You gave me peace of mind in that regard. Pivoting. The green thumb thing with you, and you had talked about it in the beginning. You had talked about it during the halftime moment when you were talking about smoking with the ladies and things like that. It is obvious that the growing and cultivating of this plant. You talked earlier about how you want to hear about is dried out. You know all the processes and stages this plant goes through before it gets to you, and you seem to almost enjoy that, like a player who enjoys practice or watching film. You enjoy the process as much as you enjoy the payoff. Um, so your advice, blanketed advice, obviously without giving up the secret sauce, to someone who is just cultivating on their own, and growing their own plants in their own time in their own space. What is your blanketed advice to them?
growing at scale is much different. So, like, you just got to keep that open mind, um,
Hmm.
as you grow and expand, and you always want to, find ways to improve your craft. That's what this is about. This is about improving our craft. So, if you haven't grown on a big scale, you can't call yourself a master. You know, if you haven't sold on a big scale, you can't call yourself a master. I mean, this is about the 10,000 hour rule, right? So, just be a student of the game. I mean, that's my advice to anyone that's trying to, grow up in the industry or be the best that they can be in something. Be humble and just be a student of the game and continue to work on the craft and listen to those who have been successful at it. Like, I have no, hesitation to go ask questions or go call up Ricky and, hey man, what are you guys doing over there? What's worked for you? Like, all the smartest people are asking for help. We can't pretend we know it all. And I just think ego blinds so much of our decision making in everyday life because, we think we know it all and we're not willing to accept help or feel like, people might feel like they're being stupid or looked at as being dumb because they're asking certain questions. And I can look back in my, earlier years and decisions that I made in my life. And I wish I asked more questions because I would have got a better answer and probably made a better decision in a lot of cases. So being able to just humble myself and just ask questions and keeping that student mindset at all times, like never feeling like I've arrived, until, I'm dead and gone and, all pro is still thriving and we've accomplished and hit all the things that we've, set out for. I'm going to just keep that mindset and keep pushing forward.
You said from the jump scale, so I got to ask you, how much cannabis do y'all produce?
We're close to a couple 100 pounds a month. Yeah, I mean, one thing that I feel like we've realized it's better to be smaller and grow slower, because then you have that agility. If something happens, you can make a move. A lot of
Yeah,
people are stuck with these big operations, and if you ain't got no one to sell to, the bills still got to get paid. One thing I've been learning about business is how to play defense. Obviously, being offensive is like, all right, we got to grow as much as we can and sell as much as we can, but how can I mitigate those risks along the way where if something doesn't go the way we thought it was going to go, are we still going to be able to survive? If something happens that's out of our control, we're still going to be able to be up operational and keep our employees. So, smaller, but more efficient and grow at that pace and let the demand, drive our decision making and our consumers drive our decision making on how fast and how big we grow our brand. So, for us, it's hurry up and get to the point where we're dominating the Colorado market, and then it's like, hey, what market are we looking at next where we can go expand our brand and share our knowledge and deliver the blueprint to somebody out there to help them grow their business along with All Pro. So those kind of collaborations are the things that we kind of looking at and looking for in the near future.
Y'all are in Colorado. I have to imagine that, the seasons changing there is such an extreme thing. Like, people don't understand that Colorado is really like the Midwest. Like, it's the West Coast Conference and a lot of things, but it's the Midwest. And y'all get hit with a different type of cold out there. Does that frost and cold affect the compounds like CBG, CBD, the THC? Like, how does it affect the weed, if anything?
When it comes to environment, which is obviously the number one factor for growing successful weed, is having a consistent environment that the plants like. So
Hmm.
that being said, your garden should never know what the temperature is outside, because this is what it's going to stay at inside this room, inside this ecosystem.
Okay.
Whether it's 0 degrees outside and it's snowing, the plants is in there and it's 81, 80 degrees,
Hmm.
humidity is what it is. And, the leaves are twinkling and, hey, they feeling happy. They got their music going. So, they feeling lovely no matter what outside circumstances are telling us.
You just said music. I ain't gonna lie. I always said, if when I get in the game, I'm gonna have these little practices that are different. Do y'all do that with y'all weed? Is there like frequency training for these plants and stuff? Like, somebody told me this is a little nug of information that the plant is life. It's life, it's energy, and if you make it feel good and talk to them positively and get the right frequencies around them, they're gonna grow. As you can see, I got a couple in here right now, and I kind of see it's like, all right, that there's a truth to it, but is it really true?
Oh yeah, for sure. And your
I love
cultivator
that.
see that. So for me, I have some Hispanic workers. So we have a
Hmm.
mixture of Bad Bunny, Gucci Mane, what else they and Lil Baby.
Oh man.
That's what
So they
that's
just, it's an energy. Yeah, they have an energy. It's like, let's go, let's go,
garden.
let's go.
Bad Bunny, where he's speaking all the Spanish and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, cool. I walk in, all right, cool, all right, Bad Bunny. You
I
know,
love that.
we got a little Gucci in there, got some Jeezy, and then we hit that little baby. So yeah, man, it's that stuff. The energy is real. Is real. The
I
energy in the
love
plant,
that.
the energy in the environment is real, and I mean that's what the plants are. They're soaking up
Hmm.
all the energy in the room. From each other, from the lights, from the nutrients, from the water. It's all that energy, coming into this plant, and producing all these buzz. So it's real cool to see. And if it isn't true, I'd rather err on the side that it is. That
Yeah,
plant love all this stuff, and it
yeah.
helps. And any little advantage that you can take as a business owner, you're gonna do. So yeah, we gonna keep our shit turned up.
No, it's the power of belief, man. It's crazy. Like, some people call it superstition. I call it belief, and we know this as athletes because you have to believe to a certain degree. You ain't gonna make it to a certain, but you ain't gonna survive, shall I say, if you don't at least believe you're supposed to be out there at the very least. You know what I mean? So I love that. Like I said, I love hearing all the things that you brought over from athletics. And like you said, you may have a superstition in athletics. You may, the team may smack something before the game, everybody, before they walk out, or there may be a prayer, a chant, or something that you say before a game. It's like, rather it work or not, if it works, it works. You know what I mean? So it's like, let it work.
Yeah, and all that needs to be is a part of your recipe. It might not be for everybody else, but this is
Exactly.
our way. This is a part of our playbook. This is a part of our cookbook. And, we're going to keep these little ingredients sprinkled in there because, we really like the results that we've been getting from it. So until I see different, we're going to keep rocking out.
I got to ask you our last question. We got to wrap up. Like I said, in the research of getting ready for this, I saw in another podcast, you said, most guys don't make enough money in the league to outlast their mistakes. We have talked about business throughout this entire interview. What is your biggest regret in business thus far?
It's not even a regret. I didn't know what I didn't know, you
Okay.
know? And it goes back to that, what you were talking about earlier about, failure and just how you deal with it and how you react to it. So, you're not going to make 100% of the right decisions, but how are you going to react to that mistake or those obstacles that you're up against, and figure out a way to continue to, push through and push forward. So, a lot of that, like I said, is just goes back to being a student of the game and understanding your business inside and out and playing a little bit of defense sometimes where you don't make that same mistake again, and really dialing in your processes and really communicating with your team on the expectations and the standards that you're setting for your business. So, we don't have that drop off. We know we're going to be at this standard. And if we don't always hit it, we know we're still going to be good. And just continue to learn from those mistakes. That's the biggest, takeaway I get from business is just learning from those mistakes. And obviously sales, that's making money is the oxygen of your business. So, no matter how much you care about your product and how great you think it is, does it sell? Are people going to reach in their pocket and spend money and purchase your product? And, those two things really, for me, are just things that I, focus a lot of my energy and efforts on, the 80-20 rule. You focus 80% on the things that are going to drive your business. So, making sure that we, practice operational excellence and, focusing on, what customers want and need and delivering to them consistently with a smile on our face. And, we're all pro for a reason. It's about being professional and being one of the best at what you do. That's what an all pro is. So that's the mentality we take and that I just run through the organization on a daily basis. Like I pound this in my people's head. Like I want to be the best. We got to be the best. Here's how, here's what, and just go through those processes and those exercises with them. So, it's drilled in and they understand it.
Future of all pro, where y'all going? Where y'all taking it?
Man, I'm so glad you asked that. Like I said, I would love to expand the brand in other markets, and we're already exploring opportunities with some other athletes to do that. I think for us, taking on some projects and some collaborations with other athletes and influencers, so you might want to create their own brand or create a line of products, powered by All Pro. That's something that we're definitely exploring too. So if B-Ray want to have his own strand or his own line of joints, being able to, accommodate those things and produce those for people. And that's a way for them to be able to get in the industry without having to, dive all the way in and be an operator / owner like I am, just being able to just create a brand and build a brand and push a brand. So just being able to create those opportunities for other athletes and guys like us and providing that for them, that's the future of All Pro for me.
What I thought was most impressive about it was when I type in your name in All Pro, how many things pop up from football just as much as the brand. I was like, wow, the fact that these are even says a lot about what you're doing at this level because we know what you did at that level.
Words of Deion Sanders, we coming.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. I'm going to wrap us out. Thank you for joining us on the Halftime Report, powered by Sports Cannabis. I'm your host, B-Ray. I want to give a very, very special thank you to both Scaife for joining us again. Make sure y'all stay tuned for another episode coming soon. Y'all got to follow, like, and subscribe to the Halftime Report for infused conversations with former athletes, advocates, professionals, breaking barriers around the world. So make sure y'all join the movement at sportscannabis.life. Let's keep changing the game together. Bro, thank you.